All right, here we are at the Teachers Talking Hoops podcast. It's only fitting that at Adam's first day toward his journey of becoming a teacher, that
Yeah,
we do the Teachers Talking Hoops podcast.
we're pretty much colleagues now. Whoever thought you, whoever thought you would say that?
Well, I had to. One of my runners who was in the room when you left, he said, "Who's that?" I said, "Oh, that's Adam." And so that's Mr. Sarlin.
Hmm.
I'm very big on uh, the misters.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I feel like I'm very lackadaisical and like easygoing, but
Hmm.
it just like there's some people out there, not like teachers, but like coaches I know that will go by like their first name, like
Yeah,
just no coach, just like first name. And I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know, like I'm just like I'm Coach Estabrook. Like there's something there's a little old school in me.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I respect that.
Um,
You're not Coach Dave. You're just Coach Estabrook.
yep, it's Coach Estabrook.
No Coach E.
I coach occasionally. My Chicopee kids
Okay.
used to call me Coachy, like
Okay. Yeah.
Coachie. That was like
Yeah.
my girl's like pet name for me. Um, and they still call me that. But actually, one of their moms, one of my better runners, uh, when I see her mom, she calls me that. She's like, "Hey, Coachy."
Look at that. Nickname still lives on.
Um, all right, so it's hasn't been too long, and uh we start conference play. And
Hmm.
so I guess we'll kind of hop into it. Should we start as with all things ACC?
I mean, I know you have some thoughts about.
I'm not going. I we like to keep this podcast Duke positive, and if I start talking about Duke too much, it will go Duke negative real
Uh,
quick. I'm gonna mention. I'll say like one or two things about Duke, and I'm
do
gonna
you want to go
save.
back to the Louisville win?
Yes, so I'm gonna save a little bit of Duke for later because we are gonna be talking about some transfer portal stuff a little bit, and I want to save some stuff because I think if we're gonna discuss pro players in college, I think it's worth bringing up Dame Sar, right? Who in theory is a pro player, right? This is a guy that played in a professional basketball league, not the
Yeah.
NBA, and is now playing college basketball. I guess it's a little different thing, right? Because you could argue being in Europe, playing on the team he was playing on is more. He needs to do it from a competition standpoint.
Hmm.
But I do, but I think it is worth an argument later, a discussion later, looking at what marks a professional. Is a professional only an NBA player? Is it a G League player? Is it overseas? Like, at what point does someone become a professional basketball player?
Huh, I
But
like that.
yeah, we could. We don't need to talk about a specific game. We like Duke's ACC is game starts, go down 12, uh, battle back, make stupid mistakes, decide you want to play defense, get back into the game, let the team back in a little bit, and then
Hmm.
win because you're that much better than the other team.
I mean, it works when it works. Now,
The Louisville
had
game was much less frustrating than the SMU game
SMU is a good team. I think right now SMU is better than Louisville, to be honest, right now. I
without
think
Booby
Louisville's,
Miller.
well, no, but and overall, when everybody's healthy, I think right now SMU is a better team than Louisville. Louisville's
here's
struggling right now.
here's the frustrating thing: is Duke even good? Because
Yeah,
Duke has
they're
beat Louisville without Michael Brown, SMU without Booby Miller, and Kansas without Darryn Peterson, and
yeah, but
struggled in all of those games.
they also beat Arkansas and
And Michigan
Kansas.
State,
Well, Kansas was without Darren Peterson, but Michigan State. So they
and
have
some
wins.
some could argue Kansas without Darryn Peterson may I want to say it's a better Kansas, but it's a different Kansas. I think Kansas proved that even without Darryn Peterson, they could still be a really good basketball team.
I actually think that Kansas is just without Darren Peterson. I think they're going nowhere.
I don't think they have the long term. I think that was a short spurt. I think
Yeah,
they're good enough to kind of hold fort for a little bit,
right.
but they can't last.
hmm Yeah, he they will go as far as his health allows them to, I think. So I think that's a delicate situation. Now, if something happens to Cam Boozer, I mean, you guys are dead in the water. You know, you guys are just obviously you don't want anything to happen to him, but like you could say the same thing for every team. It's like something like that happens to your best player. Of course, your team's going to be worse, but of course they're a good team. Every team's going to have a test, and you know what? They're going to have two tests this week because Stanford. To be honest, Stanford is going to upset either North Carolina or Duke this week because they've been playing well. They've been I mean, they have that win against who did they just beat? They just lost to Virginia, but they have that Virginia Tech win, which
Yeah.
is not an easy place to play.
Nope.
They actually look decent this year. They look organized,
Duke by
and
30.
I you better hope they're going to give you guys a game. I think it's not easy to go out to the West Coast, especially after you play Cal, then you got to turn around, and then another day you got to play at Stanford. That's not easy.
So,
I'm not saying you're going to get upset, but you're going to get a game.
well, if North Carolina doesn't get upset, then you said Duke's going to get
And
upset.
yeah, but I'm not. You know, let's wait to see if North Carolina gets upset.
I'm not.
And,
So, I guess so. One in the ACC. I'll mention one last thing about Duke because you get me a little riled up whenever you say that Duke has no one besides Cam Boozer. Um,
I mean, they don't, but
I do. Since our last discussion, my computer's too slow to look it up. But
okay.
since our last discussion,
Uh huh.
in probably about the last 4 games, I'd say
Uh huh.
Isaiah Evans is averaging about 20. Isaiah Evans has played really, really well. He's found his shot. I think early in the season, Isaiah Evans is a guy where he rushes his shot way too much. He doesn't really
hmm
get his feet. He gets his feet set, but he doesn't
Yeah.
stop his momentum from going
uh
in like whatever direction he's going in.
Yeah.
And when he gets his actual feet set and he squares up,
hmm
he's just a knockdown shooter. And so combined with I don't know how good of an NBA player he is, but he has significantly improved at getting to the hoop this year. And he
hmm
realistically he probably would be even better with another year of college basketball. But he's really stepped up and I don't know, I mean speaking of Cam Boozer, right? I mean, Cam Boozer and Isaiah Evans played really well in that Louisville game, but I don't know if Duke wins that game without Caleb Foster. Caleb Foster
Caleb
was
Foster, are you kidding me?
in that Louisville
Caleb
game.
Caleb Foster.
Yes,
Oh, that game. Yeah, okay.
yeah. No, not the SMU game. I did hear he was probably that he was sick during the SMU game. Coach did pull him pretty quickly, and he just did not play well at all in that game. So I heard he might have been a little under the weather.
Oh, okay.
Um, but
I
that
mean,
Louisville game, he was just body. Now I I I'm not gonna call out Dan Hurley as a hypocritical liar and not speak truth myself.
okay.
I do think some of those drives by Caleb Foster were probably a little bit of offensive fouls, a little bit of pushing going on there.
Mhm,
But he showed that he's a strong point guard. He's a 6'5", solidly built point guard that if he plays under control and uses his body, he
mhm.
can be effective.
Yeah.
He had like 20 points in that game.
I mean, I just got to see it every night from Caleb Foster.
I know, I know.
I'm not sold.
Uh,
I want to know what he's doing with the starting lineups. Just make a decision.
yeah, he says it's a um he says it's a practice thing. He says if he doesn't even he likes what he sees in practice and he goes with it.
Yeah. Well,
I think he's trying to send. I think he's trying to send messages, but I think. I mean, I wish we weren't sending messages at this point in the season. I wish there was a bit more overall effort to.
also, let's be real. Pat Gungva don't care if he starts or comes off the bench. He's getting drafted next year. So what difference does it make to him? You know?
I I think Gumba plays a little immature. I think he gets he gets a little frustrated easily. But did you watch the
Mhm.
Louisville game?
No, I feel like we had a game that night or something, but I didn't watch
Whoever
that one.
Louisville's
Um,
like third string center.
but he had 4 fouls. Ali Khalifa, yeah, he burned you
No,
guys.
no, 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 not
Oh,
him. Yeah, that's another story because Cam Boozer just doesn't play defense.
I
But
mean, Ali Khalifa he's a good player, but I mean,
no,
17
this is a
points.
guy. This is a guy that kind of looks like Birdman.
Oh,
Um,
yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
he
Yes,
he got sent in the game,
yes,
put his head straight on Pat Gumba's
yes.
chest, and Pat Gumba slapped him, and then he got brought out. And I cannot prove, but there's no doubt in my mind that the little I can't remember his name right now because I want to keep saying in Elf
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
when he's like, oh, he's an angry elf.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's Pat Kelsey, right? That's Pat Kelsey. There's no doubt in my mind. Pat Kelsey told that guy go in there and like just grab Pat Gumba.
He had 4 fouls. He barely played.
Yeah, because he got one or two of them, I think, from smacking that guy for sticking his head on his chest.
Hey, gotta be tough. Gotta that mental toughness. That's what we talk about in March.
Yeah, so I think he lacks that. I don't think he has the mental toughness right
Okay.
now. But he's young, right? He
Yes.
barely played last year,
Yes.
right? It came out he came on real late in the season.
Yep.
So I think and Dame Stars is starting to play much better. I think Dame Stars still not great in offense, but if he if they can just give effort with the length of
Right. Right.
like whether it's Gumba or um uh Brown, but I'm blanking on his first name for some reason.
Malik Brown.
Yeah, Malik Brown. Whether
Yeah.
it's Gumba, Malik Brown, and then you've got Dame, Boozer, either Boozer Foster, Isaiah Evans. They're so
Yeah.
long, and
Mm-hmm.
um, Brown and Sar are so good at getting into the passing lane.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that um I think Dominisar is one of those guys that's going to continue to improve, but you just have to give him more minutes.
Yeah,
You have to live with the mistakes.
yeah,
Because I mean, the scoring isn't there, but like he's making good plays while he's on the floor.
and Shire lets the guys play through mistakes way more than
Yeah,
K did.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Yep.
So you mentioned what either Duke or UNC will lose this week. I keep wanting to be like not sold on North Carolina, right? So North Carolina got smoked by SMU,
Mm-hmm.
barely beat Wake,
Mm-hmm.
but when I watch them,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, this is a good team.
I
This is a team that kind of scares me a little bit.
I just think okay. So here's my thing. Wake plays extremely hard every single game because that's what Steve Forbes demands of them. So I'm not too nervous. Um,
No,
but I also
I'm nervous that North Carolina could be Duke.
oh no, I don't think so. I thought at the beginning of the year, but I think Duke just looks like a very cohesive
Yeah,
unit. I think right now Duke still has the edge. Now, we'll find out in the coming weeks. I mean, let's be real here, right? You guys aren't going to have a 39-1 season. And frankly, you don't want to because then that
yeah.
means you're going to get bounced in the tournament. You have UNC the first time on, February 7th. Like, are you going to lose another game before then? Yeah, probably. So is North Carolina probably. That's just the reality. I see your face. You're like, that's just the reality of college basketball. Like, you're going to lose another game before then.
Who
And
would you put on Caleb Wilson? Dame Sar?
I mean, lengthwise, yeah, Dame Sar. I'd either put him or I'd probably put someone like Malik Brown. I'm keeping Cam Boozer away from him because I don't want Cam Boozer picking up foul trouble.
Yeah,
Like you said, Pat Gongba can't control himself,
yeah,
so that leaves your option. You can't put Himenia. I mean, he's long, but he's not that athletic as Caleb
yeah.
Wilson. So you're probably going with one of those guys. And if I'm Shire, I'm just telling Dame Sar, just don't leave him. Like if he goes in
Mhm.
the stands to eat a bag of popcorn, like you're going with him and sitting down next to him.
And
Like,
that's what he was able to do against Louisville, right? He
yeah,
was on what's dude's name? Ryan
Conwell, yeah,
uh what was it?
Ryan Conwell,
Yeah. He's on Ryan Conwell because Conwell had 16, I think, in the first half,
yeah,
and it was like a fast 16.
yeah,
He must have had like 12 points
yep,
within the first like 4 minutes or something like that.
yeah.
And
He
then
was firing.
Sar just kind of just stayed just face guard the whole time.
Yeah,
They would have won by a lot more if they just stopped letting the center shoot the three.
Ali Khalifa is a good player. So
Um, so tell us a little bit about why you're on the Notre Dame train right now.
I mean, I don't know. Micah Shrewsbury, he's my guy. I mean, it all goes back to a couple of years ago when I met him and didn't know I met him at his son's AU tournament. When I was working the scorebook and he came over and filled it out for me. I knew he looked familiar, but I didn't. I was like, this was back when he was an assistant for the Boston Celtics. And so I was like, who is this guy? Like, I've seen him before. He looks so familiar. And I think he could tell, like, I was trying to figure out who he was, but he
Hmm.
wasn't going to tell me because that's just Micah Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just like everything he's about. Like, sure, that Notre Dame team isn't the best team, but you know what? They're going to fight every day. And that's his philosophy. And I like that. I respect that a lot. I don't blame what he did against Cal. That was a stupid call. I don't blame him. And you know what? I'd rather have a coach that does that than one that is just walks off the floor and is like, all right, guys, we lost. Like, that shows he cares. You want a guy who cares. And I think Notre Dame is really lucky to have him helping them on their turnaround. They
So
fight. They fight. They fight every single game. And I respect that
you know who
immensely.
doesn't fight?
Duke?
Boston College.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, they might need to. Yeah, they're awful.
That's a
7-9, 0-3. Yeah, that's bad. They got Clemson tomorrow. That's a loss.
yeah.
Like,
Um,
Earl Grant's probably on his way out.
yeah, I think so. Um, I mean, so wrap up an ACC and we'll hit a couple of conferences real quick. I think what's interesting in the ACC is some parity, right? Like
Yeah, you have
Duke,
multiple teams
Clemson,
ranked.
Miami.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you got a bunch of teams in, right? If you look at the net last, I think when I was watching the other day, they said something like 12 or 13 teams in the top 70, and there's like 8 in the top 40. It looks like
you got
maybe
6 in the top 25.
that's just yeah. So, and then you got
That's about
Clemson right
20. That's
there.
about what 25%. So that's already looking
Yeah,
better.
looks maybe like right about 8 in the top 30 or so. Where last year
Yeah.
it's probably like 2 in the top 30.
hmm Maybe not even
Um,
that. Maybe. So yeah, it looks better. And then like you've also got who's the other team? Miami's in the receiving votes. SMU's receiving votes. Your boy Will Wade's still receiving
yeah.
votes. And then in the bracketology, you've got Stanford and Cal hanging around the bubble. So it's actually looking. I'm gonna give them the respect that I wasn't giving them last year. Last year it was bad, but this year it's way better.
Do you think NC State is going to go on a run now since it's second semester in college, and so the guys don't actually have to pass this semester's classes to be eligible, and so Wade's just going to tell them to stop going to
uh,
classes?
I mean, I don't. I mean, To be honest, they're probably failing. None of them are taking class. Come on, like they have somebody that's doing their work for them. That's why they like Will Wade doesn't care that somebody's doing their work for them. That's just the reality.
Do you
So
think AJ DeBonsa breaks the honor code at BYU?
I don't know. That's a whole different scenario. Like that. To be honest, I don't know the answer to that question because that's a way different scenario.
I feel like that's
I
for
feel like
for
you
how
can't.
how good of like sports BYU's getting.
Yeah.
I feel like it's tough to go to BYU and like not be Mormon.
I mean, he, he's probably not because he's not gonna care about them after this
I know
year.
they got a great cross country team,
Oh really?
real good cross country at BYU.
You should tell AJ to bounce that. Maybe
So I guess last thought on ACC. I mean it is nice to see the return a little bit, even if they're not fully there. Looking at teams like Syracuse and Virginia and Miami, it's nice to see them looking like they have some life.
hmm Yep. And even
Especially Virginia and my Syracuse kind of lacks the quality win, but they were in those some of those games that were
I mean
kind of
they
gave a
did beat
quality win.
Tennessee,
That yes, yep.
but
Tennessee. Whew,
yeah,
Tennessee was what ranked 21st, I think, and then got smoked by Florida. Did new
yeah,
rankings? I don't even know. Oh, rankings came out today. Is Tennessee still ranked?
yeah. They're down. They're at 24, so
Okay.
they're cutting it close. So yeah,
Um.
yeah, really cutting it close.
All right. So we got our ACC. Uh. We chat a little Kansas. Well, so we got Arizona leading the Big 12. And
hmm
Iowa State right there. BYU. Um. Kansas down at 1-2 in the Big 12.
Yeah,
Uh, Baylor, we
yeah.
can get to Baylor later. A Baylor controversial Baylor team, not great. I mean, I a quick scan of the Big 12 tells me I don't think this conference is better than the ACC, top to bottom.
The Big 12.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's still at the end of the day, you've got the number three team in the country in Iowa State, who's actually they went up. So the number two team in the country. It's hard to. They're 16-0, first in the Big 12. Um, you
Arizona and
look at
Iowa State they're 2-3 in Ken Palm.
yeah, and I understand that Kansas has struggled, but Kansas is still Kansas. I mean, you can't ignore Houston, BYU, even UCF was ranked. Arizona's in there. Then you got TCU, who's not bad. I mean, I'm not ready to take that step yet. I think, to be honest, I think if you put the best team in the Big 12 against the best team in the ACC, I still think there's about a 15-point differential.
The best team?
Yeah.
You think
All
Duke Duke's not losing to 15 to anybody?
right. I mean, we'll see.
We'll see in February when they play Michigan.
There you go. Although they're Big Ten, but
Yeah, but still, like that, Michigan's the one that's
I
beating everyone by,
I
except when
think
they lost.
so.
But
You're telling me a 16-0 Iowa State who crushed Purdue by 23 points.
on a neutral court,
That's what March Madness is going to be played on.
no, I'm saying you think Duke Duke's not losing by 15 to anybody on a neutral court.
I I I think so. I think so. I think so.
Well, if
Sorry.
Duke and Michigan play played Saturday in I think they're playing in DC. They played Saturday. What would what would be your prediction?
Oh, Michigan, they just lost this weekend. They're going to come out
By
and
how much?
I'd say at least 20. They're going to come out and try and punch whoever they play. Dusty May probably lit them up after. They're going to come
20.
out and just try and kill the first team
20.
they see.
We started this podcast with me saying how bad Duke was, and you trying to talk me out of it, and now you've got them losing by 15 and 20.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I am still very confident in Michigan. Every team is going to lose a game like that. And you know what? You're going to learn from a game like that. You know, like you learn there how to manage the game, how to save that lead. Like, of course, you want a game like that to happen now. Not saying that anybody wants to lose, but you'd rather have that happen now than in March when your season's over.
So how much does Michigan beat Iowa State by on a neutral court? Over
Seven,
10?
7, 8 points. 7, 8, 9. Iowa State's good. Iowa State is really good. You have the number one and the number two teams in the top two of the AP rankings. You're the best conference. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm taking UConn over Duke too. I'm sorry. Right now.
Iowa State, a team that has 7 quad 4 victories, has
But
according to KenPom, has a strength of schedule of 98 compared to Duke's strength of schedule of 19.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, they beat St. John's, they beat Purdue,
Woohoo! Woohoo!
they beat
They
Iowa.
beat St. John's. Oh man.
I'm just saying they were 14th ranked at the time. A win's a win. A ranked win is a ranked win.
I think a win over a Boopy Millerless SMU is better than a win over St. John's.
I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think so. I know I'm getting you riled up, but
So I I am a Dan Hurley hater.
I love his transition. That was
Well, you mentioned UConn, so I'm a Dan Hurley hater. But we've talked before that if you put Dan Hurley against all those other guys I don't like, that I would pick Dan Hurley from a better coach standpoint.
this is the same UConn that has a better record than Duke right now, right?
Yeah, so I'm about to say that I think UConn has it's really been injured all
Yeah.
season,
Yeah.
and has a very similar lineup. It feels like to the UConn teams in the past have been successful. Kind of some big bodies down low, some strong guys, some good shooters. No real superstar per se, like guys that can get you 20 points, but no one that you're like, oh man, like that's the number one pick in the draft. Like, we got to have him. But like very, very good players, guys that can play in the NBA, guys that will play in the NBA.
Okay.
And with Dan and I think when UConn was bad, bad relative term, either last year or 2 years ago, it might have been 2 years ago. That team
They
was
were bad. They weren't the strongest last year either.
it may have been last year, but like it was your last year 2 years ago that the team Dan Hurley had was too soft for him.
Yeah.
Like they weren't Dan Hurley players. Like they couldn't handle the kind of coach he was.
Yeah.
And which we only know because you just didn't see that the Dan Hurley team from either last year or 2 years ago doesn't beat Providence on the road. It would come back against Providence on the road. This team fed off his energy and they have his grit. And players that respond to Dan Hurley that are also good are very dangerous.
Yep.
And so I certainly would put UConn in my, I don't know, if I had to pick 5 or 6 teams that could win it, I'd put UConn on the list.
And the crazy thing is too is they had no Terrace Reed and they lost to Arizona by only 4.
Yep.
So like theoretically we could be talking about the number one team in the nation right now. And the thing that favors UConn is they have 2 ranked games left on their schedule. That's it.
Yeah.
against Seton Hall. Unless St. John's gets ranked, but those are the only two that'll probably be ranked. Unless
Ne-
Villanova wins a lot in a row. Villanova is a good team this year. But, they have the wins to back it up. They beat BYU, Illinois, Kansas, Florida. Like, that's as good as a resume as you're going to get.
is is that? I mean, it sounds pretty similar to Duke's resume, but
Yeah.
um, is similar to BYU in the past. No, not BYU. Gonzaga in the past,
Mhm.
and Duke last year when the ACC was terrible. Would you be worried then about a lack of enough competitive games as they get close to the tournament?
I don't think so because, I mean, they just had that game against Providence. They're going to have a game tomorrow at Seton Hall, which is not going to be easy. But, like, those games are the ones that are going to prepare you for March. So I'm not too concerned, especially because they have the wins early on. And now that Texas win looks even better for them after they just upset Alabama. So, like, they have those games. And I just think he's going to have them humming by the end of the year, and they're not going to bat an eye, really.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think rest of like you said, Villanova's having a nice comeback season.
Look what
Seton
happens. You get
Hall's
Kyle
playing
Neptune
well.
out there.
Rest of the Big East, so
Hmm.
St. John's very pretty disappointing.
They'll probably
Um,
make it still, though, but
yeah, and everyone else just like this. This is not a it's not a
yeah,
great Big East.
yeah.
Um, kind of skimming through here on some of the other stuff. They always play a little bit late. You watch any Gonzaga? Any thoughts on Gonzaga?
No, I haven't watched any yet. Usually, the only time I really watch them is when they play St. Mary's or in the West
Yeah,
Coast tournament, because that's really their only competition in conference.
I watched them a couple times, and
Oh,
I
Night
didn't.
Owl.
Yeah, well, I feel like it was like a 10 o'clock game on like a
Okay.
Saturday. Um, I it's what are they 17-1 or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
17-1, 3-1 in quad one, 4-0 quad two. I don't. It's not really one of the better
Hmm.
Gonzaga teams in my
Yeah.
opinion. Um, it's it, it's not one they wouldn't be on my short list, right? They wouldn't be in my top 5 or 6. My
Hmm.
top 5 or 6. I'd say Michigan, Arizona. I think Arizona's really good.
Okay.
Michigan, Arizona, Iowa State, Duke, UConn, and throw a 6 in there. I mean, there's other really good teams, but if I have to cap at 6, I'm going to throw Houston in. I think.
Okay.
Um, I don't
That's
think
fair.
BYU is.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah,
No.
Vandy is 16-0, which great for Vanderbilt. They're 5-0 in quad one.
Yeah.
So Vanderbilt's having a really good
Hmm.
season. I think who would have predicted, right, that in the year after the SEC was so legendary and people are like, oh,
Hmm.
this is going to be another strong year for the SEC, to
Yeah.
have Vanderbilt look like kind of potentially the class. I mean, think about Kentucky and Tennessee this year,
Right.
right? Tennessee's kind of fading. Kentucky's been
Hmm.
terrible, and you got
Yep.
Vandy at 16-0.
Yep. So that prompts my next question for you is who's the first unbeaten team to go down?
Between you got Vandy, Arizona, put up here,
Iowa State,
Iowa State,
um,
and Nebraska. That
Nebraska,
might be
and
it,
I
right? And then
mean
you've got Miami of
Miami,
Ohio, I think.
Ohio. But I
Um,
mean we'll chalk them out because they're not a Power Five. But
yeah. Let me do a quick schedule look here. So
I,
who's
I,
Nebraska coming up?
Nebraska's got Oregon at home, and then they got Northwestern. So I think they're
They're okay.
fine because they're not going to Eugene.
Yeah.
Um, Vanderbilt though has Texas, and then they have Florida this weekend.
Are those both at home?
I think the Florida one is in Gainesville.
I do.
No, sorry, Florida is home. But I think I think
I think Florida
yeah,
is just gonna put it together. Like they're
yeah,
slowly.
right.
So I'd favor Florida in that game.
I agree.
Um, Iowa State's got Cincinnati, UCF, Kansas. I mean, I guess the question, right? So Iowa State's at Kansas.
Hmm.
So I guess the question is, right, is Darryn Peterson play?
Right,
Um,
right.
and he's clearly he can't. I mean, maybe he's practicing. I don't know. Like, it, I guess probably he is practicing, right? Because you'd assume
Yeah.
if they are being very careful with him, they're not
Mhm.
going to bring him back without practicing
No, yeah,
because
no.
they want to make sure he's healthy enough to actually play.
Right.
Um, so and I mean he Peterson did who Kansas just lose to? They he played in the game that they won in overtime, but the next
TCU.
game,
But he like
yeah,
subbed himself out, right?
yes. Um and people were kind of critical about that, but I was listening to a
Mhm.
podcast and they said on the same night he didn't play in overtime. Wembiana didn't play in
Yeah.
overtime because he was on a minutes restriction.
Hmm.
And it's a similar idea that like if clearly like either I mean if he can play and it's just a matter of his hamstring getting
Yeah.
tired because it's
Right.
overworked,
Right.
then you'll let him play 20 minutes a game.
Hmm. Right.
Um but I yeah, give me at Kansas and then UCF's going there. I don't think UCF will win it there. So
I think so.
I'll we'll take out um we'll take out Vandy. Um Nebraska still looks pretty good. And then who's Arizona got?
Arizona, I think, is in the clear still. They have
They get so Arizona's going to UCF. UCF's been okay
yeah.
this season. Um I do really like Arizona. I think they're a good mix of kind of everything. So
Hmm.
Arizona has to go to BYU on January 26th.
Yeah.
That
Which will be a tough game.
yeah, right. If they're gonna trip up, it's probably there. Um, which then let me look at Nebraska again real quick. Nebraska, you're always kind of waiting for Nebraska to lose, and they've
Hmm.
had some close games,
And they
right?
find
They
a way
beat
to
Ohio
win. Yeah.
State,
They
yeah,
beat
they're
Michigan State
by a
in a
couple,
great
right? Yeah,
defensive
by
game. Yeah.
two.
Uh-huh.
They beat Illinois by three.
Yep.
Um, early
Okay,
on in the
so let me
season.
ask let me throw this hypothetical at you, right? So Miami, Ohio is 17-0, right? I get it. They haven't had the strongest schedule. They're in the MAC. But say they run the gauntlet but lose in their conference tournament championship. That would make them, I think, 33-1. What are you doing with them?
Well, let me see right here. Where are they at? Oops, don't need that. I mean they're
Are you leaving
fifty
them out?
third. So they're 53rd in the net rankings right now.
Hmm.
They are they're 3-0. They're 3-0 in quad 2, 2-0 in quad
Yeah.
3, 9-0 in quad 4.
Yeah.
Um they let's see when this game happens here. February 17th.
They play
Okay,
you
so all right, listen, like if they are undefeated by February 17th, we got to go to that game
against
against
UMass.
UMass.
I mean, they're a good team. They're a
Um,
fantastic team.
so they,
I have a 5 o'clock game that day too. I will go right up to Amherst after that game. It
yeah. So
takes
I
what?
mean, I think you, I mean, would have been nice if they had scheduled
Sure.
somebody,
Yep.
like tried to have gotten
Right.
somebody decent, even
Hmm.
like I don't know, like thinking of teams we just talked about, maybe like a UCF,
Yeah,
someone at that level.
right.
Um, but I'd say, especially if they are winning by decent margins. If the rest of their games, if they
Hmm.
average double digit, like 10 points, so like let's say they win a bunch by kind of 12ish, and then they win a few
Hmm.
by like 4, 5, 6
Yep.
points.
Hmm.
Um, I'd say yeah. I think I put him in, and I probably put him in as a 10 or 11.
Yeah, because it's that whole thing with Indiana State a couple years ago is can you leave a team that's 34-3 out or 33-1 or
Yeah.
33-4?
And I think
Yeah.
I don't know if you can, right? It's like those teams have proven to win games, and
Yeah.
I get like, who are you gonna put in? Let's see this. I think I got it right here. Like, I don't know. Are you gonna put in? We'll go back to Ken Pot, right? They're 53rd. So let's skip down a little bit here.
Are
Are
you
you
gonna put
gonna
in
put in an
Syracuse over
11
them?
and 5
Yeah.
Syracuse?
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Or like does Kansas State
Yeah. No.
deserve to go in because they, but because that's been the thing, right? Kansas State, do they get to go in simply because they got to play Kansas and Arizona, and so it improves like their strength of schedule, and because they get all those opportunities,
Yeah.
maybe they were able to pick off Arizona, and
Uh-huh.
like and that was their one good win, and they finish 18-12 with a
Hmm.
win over Arizona.
Hmm. I mean, that's the question that I think needs to be answered is how are we actually judging these teams? Because I mean, come on, every year there's a couple of teams that the committee puts in that just get smoked in the first round, and we're all like, why? Like, what did you put them in for?
Yeah.
And it's like you can clearly
UNC.
tell that, huh?
UNC.
It's like they're struggling to the end. It's like, what
Yeah.
are you putting them in for? They're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? Put somebody in who has a chance.
And I know they can't think of it this way, right? But as college basketball fans, you want to see the Cinderella. You want to see the little
Right,
guy
right.
try to make a run.
And you know what? They said they don't think that, but come on, like somebody in there is just like, guys, like they could be a possible Cinderella team. Like, let's
Yeah.
get them in. You
Yeah.
know, like there's at least two people that have to say that every year.
Yeah. And those teams traditionally, these mid-major, I don't even call them mid-major anymore, but like these mid-majors usually either have a like great score, like a Steph Curry at Davidson,
Hmm.
right? Like a great
Right,
scorer,
right,
or they just
right.
play really good
Yeah.
team
Yes.
basketball.
Yes.
And like they're just they're guys that have been there, like they didn't transfer, and they
Hmm.
like built up a good team.
Right.
And those are the teams that like they're not going to get rattled against like the
Hmm.
big guy, and
Precisely.
they're the ones that cause the upsets.
Hmm. Yeah. You said it.
So yeah, I mean, I put Miami Ohio in if they run it. Um, I mean, they're not going to because they're going to lose to UMass, but
I. Ugh.
I mean, shoot, they might lose to UMass January 27th at Miami.
UMass sucks. They suck.
My wife almost went to Miami, Ohio.
Oh, really?
Um, so all right, let's do a quick
Uh,
hitter on these pro players. So when you Google, at least when I did, when I Googled James Najee, I said James Najee stats is what I put in, and the top hit was ESPN NBA, and it brought me to his NBA profile on ESPN.com. So how what should let's make it simple.
what should we do? This is so disgusting. Why are we letting him play? The brother got drafted. He
But
played in the summer league.
what should the NCAA rule be?
Rule B, once you leave college and get drafted, you can't come back. Like, what is this rule? This is so
What
stupid.
about the G League?
No, you are playing, at that point, you are playing semi-professional, you are playing professional sports. You cannot come back. Why do you need to come back? It's embarrassing for you to come back. It
Who?
like just imagine that. Imagine you were a professional sports player. It's like, I can't hack it. I gotta go back to college. Like that's embarrassing. And the fact that the NCAA is letting them do this is actually horrible. Like this is atrocious. This is the worst I've ever seen the NCAA. Why are we letting grown
do
men come
you
back to play college basketball?
do you blame Scott Drew?
Do I blame Scott Drew? No, the brother's smart. The NCAA can't clearly function right, so why not go grab a guy that played professional basketball? He's clearly more physically gifted than everybody else. It's not Scott Drew's fault that this is happening. Now, were people, mad at Scott Drew? Sure. But like at the end of the day, why don't we just all go out and get pro players then? If they can't hack it.
Is so. What about these European players?
All right, but they haven't been drafted.
So
That's
if
the
you
difference.
are if you're playing in Europe, so if you leave college to go play in Europe, right? Let's say you do kind of the um Lamelo? No, what?
If
Which
you leave college to go play professionally, you shouldn't be able to come back. Because now
so
you are a professional basketball player.
so it's all right, here's where it gets tricky because it
I
used
understand that there's pro leagues in Europe and stuff.
but it used to be easy to just say if you were getting paid to play this sport, then you can't play in college.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're
Which you
getting paid.
can't do anymore. Yep.
So so you think the NCAA just needs to say if you have played if you either have played basketball outside of the NCAA and made money.
I'm saying after you leave college, you shouldn't be able to come back. Like, what are
Okay.
we doing here? Are we working at all during the day, or are we just sitting around? Like, this is
Now,
ridiculous.
should there be for these European players,
Yep.
should there be an age limit to when they can come over?
I mean, I feel like there's no age limit because,
Because the problem is you can't put an age limit on a regular kid to
right,
go to college.
right, exactly. And I feel like there's no age limit because, I mean, also, let's be real. In Europe, like, if you're 21 years old, like, you're going pro. You're not going to college.
Yeah.
Most kids are just going right to the pros because you can make money. And so I think that there hasn't been a problem is because European players are being recruited very young.
Yeah.
And
So
I think
you
the
don't like
NCAA doesn't have a problem with that, which
so
is fine.
you're the European guy that gets like whenever you're watching the draft,
Uh-huh.
you'll be like, all right, they're gonna draft my guy, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden they draft some dude from like
sure.
Serbia to
Yeah,
the NBA, and they're like, well, he's not gonna come for like 3 years,
yeah.
so that guy cannot go play
Nope.
college basketball.
No, no. You
Okay,
got drafted. For me, you have no eligibility once you get drafted.
okay,
Because at the end of the day, like, think of the ripple effect. Because so if you're a coach and the guy's like, oh, sorry, I'm going to get drafted. All right, I got to go get somebody else now.
yeah.
Right. And then you offer a kid a scholarship, and this kid's out, coach, like, I can't hack it in the pros. Like, I can't do it. I got to come back to college. Like, I understand I'm a grown 25-year-old man, but I can't do it. And so then what do you tell that 19-year-old kid you just recruited? Oh, sorry, I have a kid who I coached last year, but he can't hack it anymore. So we got to take your scholarship away.
I do just like the impact it has on recruiting and it's
Yes.
the uncertainty
It
of it
has sent
all.
a major rippling effect through recruiting. Recruiting a 17-year-old European kid is way different
Yeah.
because like this kid also he wants to play college basketball.
Yeah.
And I understand that college basketball, like, you're getting money. And let's be honest, like, if you're not going to be drafted in the first round, you're probably going to make more money playing at college than you are in the
Mhm.
league. So why would you just stay?
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. So I don't understand. Like, if you play in the G League, if you play in the Summer League, if you play in the NBA, why are you playing in college? Like, you have pro experience.
Yeah.
Like, what are we
What's
doing? This is disgusting.
what about mid season
Come on, come on, come
transfers
on. You
from
can't.
from
Come
one
on.
team to another?
Come on. You know what you're doing here.
No, no, no,
Um,
no, no. I wasn't even thinking. Like, but like, is that because that also we're seeing some of that a little bit, and that also isn't. It feels very professional. It feels very NBA, right? Like it's almost like a trade,
mhm,
and but you're not trading, right? Because that kid who you recruited to be on your team now isn't getting playing time
yep,
because you've brought someone else in without even like in 10 years if this becomes the norm it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but
yeah.
for the kids now it's kind of like wait a second like you're bringing like what do you mean like you're bringing somebody else like to play like what happened to like the 10 guys like we just had on this team, it's
Man,
very
you must know how to read minds or something because
but it's it's
yeah, no,
I
I
think both
yeah,
both of them are ultimately you're like with the Scott Drew comment, right? It's
mhm,
you're the coaches are trying to win basketball games because that's what the school wants them to do.
yeah,
And they are if they do it the honest way,
mhm,
they don't win as many basketball games
sure,
and they potentially lose their job.
hmm
And so I listened to a podcast that said the podcast actually said, it's up to the coaches to just do the right thing. And if they all
yeah,
think this is wrong, they
yeah,
should just stop
yeah.
doing it. And then someone said, well, but then it's right because then Will Wade will come in and just get all the guys. You know,
Here's what I'm gonna say. As a coach, I understand why you do it because in your mind, like your team is lacking something that this new kid can fill, which I
yeah,
100% understand. But as a player, when that happens, it's basically your coach saying like, I don't have enough faith in you.
yeah,
That I need to bring in someone else because this isn't cutting it. And
yeah,
I 100% like if you're a role player, like if you're not a guaranteed, you know, top 9 or 10 guy, like 100% you're gonna be pissed off about it.
yeah. And
Like
I get,
starters down to the eighth, ninth man don't care. Their playing time is set.
yeah.
But if you're a guy that's fighting for minutes and you're right at the edge of that rotation piece and that guy comes in, there go your minutes.
And I don't like that about like the transfer portal in general. Like I'd say how angry I get when Duke is playing bad, but it's more like I don't mind them losing. It's just when it looks like the effort isn't there.
Right.
And so I would rather Duke. I probably want them to make the tournament, but
Mhm.
I'd rather them get knocked down the first round and
Yeah.
keep Darren Harris for all
Yeah.
4 years,
Right.
right? A guy that wanted to come to your school
hmm
is working hard, and I'd
Yeah.
rather you ride or die with that guy, and hopefully
hmm
by the time he's a senior, he's a really good contributor, than be
Right.
like, yeah, sorry, dude, we got somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, like Tom Izzo said it perfectly. There's no loyalty and no trust.
Mhm.
None of that is is here in college basketball, except for like a few teams.
Yeah.
Like it's just everybody's just recycled to one school or another,
Yeah.
and it's like, how do you like? I understand that you're a Division One coach, like you have different rules, but like you look at Division 2, even Division 3, like how do you win games like that? You know,
Yeah.
like I've been on plenty of teams in college where you walk in the door every year and there's new guys, and you just can't gel that way.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a game. And so it's like, imagine bringing in another guy on top of that.
And we've seen it with like a better player doesn't mean a better team.
Right, exactly. Like, it doesn't matter if he's good or not. Like, if your team doesn't like him, you're not going anywhere. You're getting worse, actually.
Yeah.
So, tough situation. I don't know
Yeah.
what Charlie Baker's doing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it ain't
It's
enough.
yeah.
Get a grip.
It's
I can
not
go on for hours, but I'm just
it's
going to
it's
shut
gonna
up.
be it's gonna be a rough next couple years as they try to
Yeah.
sort of, but you're right that they're reacting, they're not doing anything.
Right.
They're
Hmm.
waiting for something, right? It's almost common sense that a guy that got drafted shouldn't be playing in college, but they're like, well, I guess we didn't really have an official rule about it, but like
Hmm.
now they should make an official rule, right? Like they
Yeah.
should be like, okay, like he gets to come back, I guess, but like here's the rule now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just very kind of passive about, and they just, I guess they don't want to get sued, but it just seems like someone in the NCAA should be smart enough to figure out how do we write our rules that make it so we don't get sued, that like are very
Hmm.
clear, like
Right.
this is you, like if you file a lawsuit against us, you will lose because the rules are not going to let you win.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
There was someone, I forget who wanted to come back. There was one guy, I think last year.
Another one who can't
Well,
hack it and
it
wants
was,
to
no,
come
it was a
back.
guy that like had played like 5 or 6 years in college, and his
That's
eligibility was up.
you know what? You're getting me going. Here's another thing, right? Get a life, dude.
Yeah.
After
Oh,
you,
no, it was the Tennessee guy. It was the Tennessee point guard. That real tiny guy,
oh, Santiago Vescovi.
maybe.
Now, well, if it's him, it's okay. I like him. But most people, get a life, dude. Like 6 years in college, you're taking up somebody's spot. Like you got to
Yeah,
know when to hang it up, man. Like I get it. And money, it's different now because of money. But in the past, when there was no money, like you got to hang it up, man.
yeah. And we've seen him running a little bit. So like the BYU guys, they go on a mission trip,
Yeah.
um, and they
And I feel
redshirt.
like that's different.
But if you're those guys are 24, 25,
Yeah.
winning NCAA cross country. Like if you're an 18-year-old, like in running, like running or basketball, right? Like
Right. Right. And that's
physically,
the thing. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, it does feel like you're right. Like if you couldn't accomplish something, and
Right.
it's different. Like when I was in college, I would have loved to stay an extra year or two and run just because like
Sure.
I was having fun with my team.
Right.
But like these guys, they're not having fun with their team. Like they're like
Right.
they just want to make money.
Right. And they're there for 8 years. Like a fifth
Yeah,
year, sure, go ahead. Like everybody does that.
yeah.
But
There was someone,
when you're in
I
college
forget
for
who it
eight
was.
years, like
Yeah,
that's bad.
yeah. And you're right. It's like, what are you? At some point, you've got to be real with yourself, and right, like there's a pride thing that comes in where it's like, I set out to make the NBA,
Hmm.
and I've
Yep.
realized like that's not going to happen. So why do I just keep coming back to play college basketball?
Yeah. And you know, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with a fifth year. Like if you have the eligibility for it, sure, go ahead if you love what you do. But like after 8 years, like
Yeah,
come on.
yeah, yeah. All right. We'll cap this.
We're gonna see a decline in viewership now after my
It's also it it makes it more difficult to be a fan, I think,
Mhm.
because
Yep.
you don't have as many Cinderellas, and then
Hmm.
you're trying to sort of have loyalty to your team. But I think what made college basketball better than the NBA is you could kind of get to know your play. Like
Yep.
think about like how popular now Steph Curry's popular because of Steph Curry, right? Who he is. But
Right.
like the fact that he stayed on the Warriors, the fact that Reggie Miller stayed
Hmm.
on the Pacers, right? Like those guys were loved by their city.
Hmm.
And to get a guy to be, if I don't know, like Duke was celebrating their 2001 championship in their last
Yes, I
play.
saw that. Yes.
Yeah. So like what if after they win the championship, Shane Battier is like, oh, you know what, guys, I got a fifth year. I think I'm gonna head over to like Arkansas.
Shane Battier wouldn't. Shane now. Shane Battier
Yeah.
is done.
But it's like you can't it feels you're not getting the college basketball is going to feel more and more like a professional league, and
Hmm.
that I think you don't want that because it's what makes college basketball popular. And like if it's going to be like the NBA, just watch the NBA then.
Hmm. Exactly. You said it.
All right, so we'll wrap up there. We got um a just a quick look. I think there's nothing on today. Um,
No, unless you're
so
a Navy and American fan, but
I'd say like quick look. You mentioned Connecticut and Seton Hall,
hmm.
UVA and Louisville play tomorrow. Um, I'm curious, real quick here on I Indiana's got Michigan State. I just want to see that's at
Yep.
Michigan, so I see Michigan State is probably gonna win that. Um, West Virginia, Houston, Kansas. So I'd say probably the two biggies are UConn Seton Hall, seeing if UConn's got to go to Seton Hall, and
Hmm.
then Kansas Iowa State. Does Darryn Peterson play? Can Kansas
Yep.
win it at home? Those are kind of biggies tomorrow, and then there's some other good
Right.
stuff throughout out there, and we're definitely we're in the heart of conference play, so there's always gonna be some good games, but um,
Big test. Big test for the
I think
Dukies this week.
Virginia, yeah, but Virginia beating Louisville
Yeah, they're
in
looking
Louisville,
good. Yep.
um, especially if Mikal Brown can play, it doesn't look like he's going to.
Yeah,
I
but
think,
I
um,
think either way
but
for Virginia, that's a signature win. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good victory. Um, It's actually. Oh look! Oh, let's finish off this point. They don't need Mikal Brown Jr. because apparently, um, in Louisville's last game, I missed this. Um, they beat BC,
Hmm.
and a London Johnson was made available to play. He did not play in the game, but he is the XG League player. Uh, so let's see if London Johnson plays in this game against Virginia. So we'll pick it up there. If London Brown does anything of note in the next week, we'll hop on the podcast to
Stop. Stop.
chat about it.
Stop. 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 Don't.
All right.
We're just
So
circling.
yeah, we're gonna finish off there. So we'll come back a little bit, talk about Duke's 2 wins this week,
Okay.
and all
I
right.
think I might tape
So
that game on Thursday. I want to see them play Cal.
yeah.
I don't want anybody to tell me the score. I'm gonna watch them play Cal.
All right. Well, until then, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.